Hey guys, this is Juno and welcome back to another Summoners War video. The Siege tournament is going on. As you can see, a couple days has passed, so we are already past the first round. The second round is about to start. Congrats to everybody that got in. Hope you guys didn't have too much of a stressful season. I actually didn't know the tournament was even happening. We also see that Crazy Monkey got in. This is another Korean guild, so congrats to them. Anyhow, as we all know that the meta defenses during the past season has been identified. I was making videos on those, and then I did put out a couple of them. Yes, some of them might have been months old, right? But still, I think it was within the season or maybe just one season old, and it was still being used a lot in G2 at the very least. Maybe even some lower G3 guilds used it, but I did not get to make some of the Nat 5 defenses. The particular one I'm talking about is the Water Twin Angel variants with the Ren. I think those were a little popular in certain servers. I don't know exactly if Global was one of them, but I am pretty sure there was a guild out there that was running a variance of that. Hoping if you guys enjoy this type of content that I continue with this, even though I'm not in a G3 guild. I'll try to be more on time with those. I'll have to actively watch other G3 content creators to see what defenses are being ran so that I could copy that as quick as possible. But again, if you guys do enjoy this, then I'll try my best to put those out as much as possible. Now, I just wanted to point out and show you guys the defense log of the things that we made. Yes, some were made a little too late, so there isn't a good sample size to show the records. But I think there are some other ones that did hold up during at least a third of the season. So we do have a good number of matches that show their win-loss rate. So I just wanted to show you guys all the runes and why I think it performed a certain way. So I think we could talk about 4. One is the Platy Irene Shahhat. This one was very popular from the mid to end of the season, I believe, or maybe even the early season, I'm not too sure. But the other variants was with Zenitsu, and I do think that died out a little once it got nerfed. I'm not too sure about it since I don't follow it as much, but if you guys did run a Zenitsu variant, please let me know if after the balance patch it was thrown away and was replaced. So this one did particularly well. I wish my guild made more of these so that we could stack towers of these, because I do think for what it was, we got a very good record. If we had more traps alongside of it, I do think it would have done a lot better. Now, if you guys want to make traps, the most conventional way for this is this violent. Obviously, these all perform really well on violent. They have very annoying skills that is annoying to deal with. Right, Platy has a reset, has a revive. Irene, obviously, that skill 3 to skill 2 is really annoying, and then Shahhat skill 2. Well, it's the least annoying variance, but it's the damage dealer, so you really don't want it to violent proc. Now, if you want to go a trap variance, either there's 2 ways: the outspeeding trap, where Irene's on Swift. I did have a guildmate that was thankfully running that. It was Bevy, and I do think he did pretty well with that, so that's great. Or the surviving variant side, where Platy is also very tanky. These are all very tanky, where you could survive a cleave. I think most violent variances are built that way, but if you can't, I think Platy's or one of these units are like on a shield set or a double shield set, so that there is a chance for this team to survive. Mine was the conventional way, so here Irene does go first on the violent will. It does have max accuracy with this artifact, and it's taking less damage from wind. Speed, HP, very conventional type of Irene. And then we have the Platy. I forgot if it was Platy or Shahhat. I think it was actually Shahhat, because I wanted Platy to survive a nuke I think. So Shahhat goes next on 270 speed on Violent Destroy. I like the Destroy set in Siege defense, especially if the opponent brings in another second turn team where they want to survive the damage output we bring out. Then the Destroy helps a lot. It's on speed, HP. Oh, sorry, it's HP. And then it has skill 2 accuracy, crit damage taken, damage taken from wind, so on and so forth. Then we have Platy, I believe. Yes, it is. So here I do have a shield set. So that's what I talked about. So if you're going with the conventional way, I guess it kind of incorporates the surviving way as well. So you want to add some aspect of survivability. Platy, yes, with skill 2 there is an aspect of that, but also it's also important that this unit survives, right, for whatever first turn that the opponent takes. It's taking less damage from crit damage and also taking less damage from dark, because I do think a Bethany variance will be still extremely strong against this defense. It's on HP. I'll show you guys the records at the end, okay? And then another one that I made, this is the one I made at the end. it looks like I made 3 nat 4 and 1 nat 5 defense. So this one I made at the end, but it still has decent rune quality, where it's the Fiona Echer and Deborah. Now again, this defense was pretty much deciphered by the mid to end of the season. There are people that deal with it with Shaman. I got a comment on that video saying that Shaman deals with it really well and they never lost. Okay, that's understandable. I do think if you meet a very nicely runed off defense though, this defense, then that offense could definitely lose. Obviously, you could say that for every offense and defense, so it's kind of mute, but there is a chance for this defense to win. Maybe mine's not decently ruined, but it is what it is. So again, there's multiple ways to build this. The conventional way is, I think, Despair or Vio on the Fiona. Then the Escher is on Violent, and then the Deborah could also be on Violent or Despair. I've gotten a comment saying that a person's Despair Deborah is performing really well. He wanted me to try it out. I didn't have the time to change this defense, knowing that the Siege tournament was starting anyways, and this season is already ending. So I didn't do any of that. But maybe if this defense is still somewhat meta next season, I might make that change. And I'm hoping again all these defenses my guild does make, if they can, because a lot of our defenses are extremely outdated. I think that's why we're not doing so well. Here the Fiona goes first for mine on Despair Will on 290 speed. It's not the best Fiona. I know in G3 there are like crazy Despair people, even Violent people. I wish I had more attack here. I think that's what I have to do with this slot 2 speed. But it's speed, crit rate, and HP. And then we have more skill 3 accuracy here because we only have 43%. And then just more additional damage with speed, HP, and attack. But I do want more attack overall. And then we have a Deborah going in on Violent. My Violent seal, because I mean I had a seal set that was allowing me to do this, so why not? Speed, HP, HP, and it has more skill 2 accuracy because again we only have 43% accuracy, and then taking less damage from wind. Doesn't look too bad, right? And then finally we have the Escher that is on Violent Destroy. I don't know why, I just like Destroy in Siege defense. It's on the crit rate build. It might actually, yeah, it's on the crit rate build. Yeah, it has to be. On speed, crit rate, and HP. This is a very weak slot 6 HP, but I don't have anything better in Destroy, so my Destroy runes are really lacking. And then it's doing more skill 3 accuracy, more damage based off of speed and HP. I guess a crit damage line right there, and then again all additional damage stuff. This one, I think it does extremely well in lower levels, like G1, G2. I think, yes, Shaman is really easy to obtain, so I guess people could spam the Shaman one. I think the Cade, I think that's how you pronounce it, the Dark Poison Master variance is the harder one to deal with, and that one has a higher chance to win, like a closer rate to 100% rather than the Shaman variance. Then we have this one that I kept till the end, and I'll tell you why. It's because I changed the build on this. So if you guys didn't know, our guild was rarely running this. We only had like 2 people running it, including myself, or 3 people maybe. And it just didn't make sense to make the conventional one because it's too easy to deal with the counters that I've stated in one of those videos. So I changed this so that the robo and also the Conrad is on Swift. It made a lot more sense. I got a comment on it, and by doing so, once the robo dies, Conrad will always use skill 3 on the opponent unit, and if he does, we get a boost as well. So Kinky should be built so that it's tuned to move and will kill off a unit. In that case, in whatever way, our defense should win. So once I changed that, it did a lot better, and I'll show you guys the log at the end, but it ramped up so close to 50-50. I was actually very surprised because we had like a 1-4, 1-5, 1-6 record, and then it ramped up all the way to a 50-50 record or close to that. So here the robo goes first on Swift Endure. I did make it a little faster because there was a separation of the PvE and then Siege runes, so it allowed me to make this robo a little faster. It's on speed, HP, more skill to accuracy, crit damage taken, and also damage taken from wind, or damage dealt on wind. Okay, I guess I want to do more damage. And then we have the Conrad going next on Swift Will, 308 speed, so there's a 2 speed. No wait, there's a 3 speed difference. Yeah, there's a 3 speed difference. Okay, there's 3 speed difference. Speed, swift will, speed, HP, and taking less damage from wind. And then finally, the kinky, we had to make it a little faster, again, because we wanted to be tuned to the boost from Conrad. So he got like 10 more speed from the initial video on Violent Destroy. Still 100 res, speed, HP. I dealt with a lot of this defense today, and the kinkies weren't on 100 res, so it was really easy to deal with. I think 100 res is like a must. I know even with the 100 res, it's just res checks, it's just RNG. Stupid stuff, but from my experience, if it's on 100 res, it's harder to deal with. Accuracy on skill 1 for the defense break, and just more additional damage stuff. More damage on wind too. Finally, we have this one right here. I think this one is a trap. I think the conventional way is again violent, swift, or violent. Swift, I guess, is the speed trap, right? Where the Cichlid's on swift, so you want to outspeed them. But it's like then violent, swift. The conventional is violence for you to have a much higher chance to deal with the second turn teams, because Cichlid proccing is also very annoying. The cleanse on skill 2, the reset on skill 3. All the memories are pretty damn annoying. Or the last variance is that you can make 2 units on violent and 1 unit on triple shield, which is what a lot of our guildmates did, and so did I. So I believe here the mimirr is on triple shield. Yeah, triple shield is extremely tanky. 50% crit rate, but this is really very low crit. We tested it multiple times. It rarely crits, so I might just change that and make it more HP heavy. The Cichlid should still go first on 250 on Violent Nemesis. Extremely tanky. I did notice that my Cichlid at least deals with my Marine Lucian. At least it survives my rune quality. So that was just a testing standard. If it survives my rune quality, it is good. But obviously there are people that have better rune quality than me out there, so I won't be able to survive those. Vigor on Violent Destroy, HP, skill 3 crit damage, and damage taken from wind. I believe it's close to, yeah, he has some crit rate. And then finally mimirr on triple shield, like I've shown. HP, and then more crit damage because we have 50%, who knows, and then taking less damage from wind. So those are the 4 defenses that we ran. Some have more records than the other because they were built in the timeline. So let's go look at the defense log. The first one that you see is the Irene, Platy, and Shahhat. It got a 2117, which I'm pretty happy with. Again, we didn't even have a whole tower of these. Our guild wasn't running this, so we were the outlier. But for being an outlier, we did pretty well. I will show you guys the other defense that our guildmate was running. I think we only had one more that was running this, which was Bevy. He was running the Swift Trap one, and it got a 2122. Let's look at the rune quality. Yeah, plus 209. It was a very fast variance because obviously the Irene is fast. That's good. It looks like he was also running the other 2 as well, so we'll go check that out too. Okay, and then we have to look at this one right here. Look at that. At the end, this caught up to 7-7. Success. It's crazy. That is actually nuts. So the Swift Trap did a lot better. It made a lot more sense. If we outspeed, then essentially we won. That was the only criteria for this defense because it was guaranteed for it to kill 1 unit. If you look at Bevy's, I think he made it a little later, so I don't know if he'll have a decent record. 5-3, even better. Look at that. He was also running something similar, Swift, and then a Kinky. The Kinky isn't tuned though, so I guess there is a chance for the opponent to survive. For example, the Miang variants, right? The Miang, Amisetti, and Copper. After these 2 move, if the Miang is fast enough, it will cut, and then it could use skill 3 to get some HP. And in that case, then the Kinky might not kill. It still might, because obviously there's a aspect of violent proc, but again, it's just safer in my eyes for it to be tuned right away. Okay, but that did really well. Again, ours could have done a lot better too if we made it that way in the first place. So I think if we did that, we will have a much higher win rate. I think it would be like a 7-3 or something like that. This one right here, the mimirr, vigor, Cichlid, 8-9. Again, not too shabby. See a lot of defense successfuls there. If we look at Bevy's, I mean, we're just checking Bevy because he has most of our defenses that we made. He has extremely nice rune quality. I think he just lacks in Swift. He got a 2034. He was running this a lot earlier than I was. Fails at all at the end. Maybe he was more on the conventional side. have violent, ooh, yeah, violent broken, violent destroy, violent will. So he was on the more conventional side, although it's kind of surprising that there's no will or destroy on this unit, but it is what it is. I think also Salt and Vinegar was running this a lot. He had like 3 of these, 37, 30, 25, 28, 6, and 17. Which one did the worst? So the triple oh wow, 6 shield sets did the worst. Okay, kind of makes sense because in Siege, violent proc is probably king. Then the other one was the more convention. Oh, the Swift Trap. So the Swift Trap did the second best, and the best was a triple shield set on Cichlid. Okay, so it looks like the way that you want to make it is that one's on triple shield if you can. Finally, our Fiona Echer Deborah 4-3. I think it didn't get wins at the end, yeah, but it did get 1 win. So it started with 3-1, so I was like, damn, it's doing really well. Again, there's no other person that is running the exact same team, so it's an outlier. Reason why it might not be doing as well. I really don't know who has this defense, but in the end, I think all 4 defenses did fairly well. Although the Cichlid won, so I should be doing a lot better. But I did notice after the rise of more content creators in Siege, everybody is playing a lot better. So I rarely see defenses that gain tons of wins. Except, I mean, I don't know, that might be wrong because there's this member in my guild named Jan, and his defenses does so well, kind of crazy, and he rarely plays too, so it kind of pisses me off. So these are his defenses. Look how outdated these are. They are so outdated. Come on, Jan, what are you doing? And then you look at his record, 29-11, 10-6, 2-2. Okay, some are doing bad, but this 29-11, really? You're crazy? 10-6? I mean, this one's out of the world, but anyways. Anyhow, so those were the defenses that I made at the end. I'm hoping that I can start this series a lot earlier for the next season when we get a new balance patch, when the new meta is brought in, and I'm hoping I, get on the wagon pretty quickly so that you guys can, as an example, to build either a conventional way of doing it or a trap way of doing it. I would want to make all 3 types and show it to you guys. I don't know how that will go. Again, my life got a lot busier, so. But I enjoyed it. Hope you guys enjoyed it too. If you guys do like these type of videos, please leave a comment. It really helps. Finally, if you guys would like account reviews, please join my Patreon. If you guys want account improvements, join my Discord. If you like the Google forum. And I'll see you guys next time.